If you ever wanted a perfect visual representation of the phrase, "Pride goeth before the fall," look no further than this comment right here. This copium is in response to this video, wherein I make a systematic case that Christ's knowledge of the day and the hour is to be understood as declarative and not cognitive. Be sure to check out that video if you're interested. And this little guy wants me to provide some quotations from the Church Fathers to show that they held to this view as well, because apparently I think I know better than them. I guess. So let's do it. We're going to take a look at three Church Fathers, Saint Irenaeus, Saint Augustine, and Saint John Chrysostom. Irenaeus says that the Son of God allowed that the Father know the hour of judgment. Allowed is the operative term here, because it points not to a literal deficiency of knowledge on the part of Christ, but rather how the Lord deliberately presented himself to his listeners. Irenaeus' statement that Christ allowed the Father alone to know the hour is indicative not of ignorance, but of voluntary restraint. The Son's active allowance indicates that the knowledge in question is declarative or revelatory. It's not a cognitive deficiency. This is because of Christ's role in revealing or withholding certain artifacts of revelation that the Father wills for him to reveal or withhold. In Mark 13:32, the Son actively leaves the revealing of the day and the hour to the Father. And from Christ's example, Irenaeus extrapolates an important principle that he thinks we as Christians can learn from. We shouldn't be ashamed to ascribe certain prerogatives or questions to God, since Christ was not ashamed to defer to the Father regarding certain matters. Furthermore, Irenaeus says that the Father and Son have fellowship in all things, which means they mutually share in the oneness of mind, and therefore possess the same cognitive knowledge of the day and the hour. This is reminiscent of John 16:15, wherein Christ says that everything the Father has is his. And for Irenaeus, the reason Christ deferred to the Father was to provide an example for us. Since Christ was in the form of this world, which means in a created human form, then we too, who are also connected with the scheme of this world, should also ascribe the revelation of these questions to God, since the Father alone is the source of divinity within the Trinity. And we know that Irenaeus believed that Christ is ontologically equal to the Father because elsewhere, Irenaeus says that the Son's eternal generation is indescribable and it's not known by anyone. Neither this laundry list of heretics, which would include the individual to whom I'm responding, nor the angels, nor the archangels, nor the principalities and powers, but only the Father and the Son. The Father and Son both possess equal knowledge of an indescribable and incomprehensible reality. Moreover, Irenaeus says that Christ contains the knowledge of all things and is true and perfect, which proves that Irenaeus believed that Christ had cognitive knowledge of the day and the hour. Furthermore, Irenaeus says that the Lord Jesus Christ is the creator of the world, as well as the one who governs and arranges all things. Christ is omnipotent. And lastly, Irenaeus says that in all things and through all things, there is one Father, one Son, and one Spirit, showing that the Son is just as eminent and omnipresent to the exact same degree that the Father and the Spirit are in creation, which proves the supremacy and the essential divinity of the only begotten Son of God.
Gotta go and what do you mean say
But
stuff?
Jay, look. I've already gone through this stuff, and if I wanted to debate you or anybody on what Bena Yadehi means, I would do it with PowerPoint slides, not on TikTok where you can't see anything. Now, to answer the question that was asked by you and by the other person, what's my view of the Islamic dilemma? So, in my view, the Islamic dilemma is solved in basically two ways. Okay, number one, the gospel that is mentioned throughout the Quran is not the same thing as the New Testament, and it's not the same thing as the fourfold gospel. The gospel
Really?
in the Quran view refers to the teachings of Jesus. That's all it means. And you can't
Right.
use the Quran. You can't get from Quranic mention of the word
But what
gospel
makes you
to
think it's
okay
only the teaching of Jesus?
because that's how it's
Because your
defined in
Quran
the
uses,
Quran.
well, your Quran uses biographical material both from the gospel and from the Torah. So,
That's
and it
irrelevant.
uses what?
That's irrelevant. That's a red
What?
herring. That's a
What do you mean
complete
red herring?
because the term gospel in the Quran, and I have to go soon.
Right.
The term gospel in the Quran doesn't
Yeah.
refer to Jesus' biography. It refers to a revelation that God gave to Jesus,
Who
which then
says
Jesus
that?
taught. The
Then why
Quran
does your
says that.
Allah? Then why does your Allah
But
quote
the Quran says
stories?
that. But
Uses
then you can't
stories
use
from the
the
four
Quran.
gospels.
But that's
Khalil,
a different
why does then in
issue.
that, bro? You
It's a
listen.
different
Why does?
issue.
Not our definition.
If
You're
you're
saying that.
using no, because the Quran doesn't
Yeah,
define
listen.
Jesus'
You're
birth as
filibustering me
part of the
right now. You think
gospel.
it's going to work out there?
I'm
You're just
not.
making
I'm not.
nonsensical
You're changing,
claims out there,
my
because
friend.
you're saying,
My friend. Do you use
Khalil,
the
is it
Quran? Do you use the
Khalil?
Quranic mentions of the word gospel to do the Islamic dilemma? You do, but now you're ignoring
Yeah,
it.
okay,
So you
yes,
can't play
and guess
both
what?
sides.
And guess what? In your Quran,
You can't play
Allah
both
is sitting
sides.
down and using quotes from the Gospels when He's talking about the
Okay.
Gospel, from Luke, from everywhere else.
Actually,
He's
actually,
using biographical
actually, there's
material. So
no.
why is He using
Okay.
stories that are only found in the Gospels? He's putting it in the Quran when He's referring to are, he only talks about the Torah, the Injil, and the Psalms. He doesn't talk about the
But
full Bible, right?
none of
So why is he
none
using
none of
stories
that.
only in the Gospels in the Quran then? If those Gospels were
Okay,
not a part of it.
so he also, but the Quran also uses stories that are not found in the Gospels, like the infancy narrative.
Brilliant. Yes. Okay. But
Yeah,
that's not my
okay. So
contention.
that doesn't.
My
Okay, no, but it's relevant because you're now trying to argue that because the Quran evokes a story found in the Bible, therefore the Quran is confirming the whole Bible.
No.
That just
You're
logically
saying that
doesn't
it is
follow.
not the Gospels, and I'm saying there are instances of
Yeah,
stories
but
that are
you're
only
missing.
found in the
You
Gospels
totally.
that Allah is using in there, and he's quoting those almost verbatim.
Okay, great,
He's doing it in
great,
there.
but
So if
that
he's
doesn't.
doing that,
Okay, but
that
that
means
doesn't help
the
the Islamic
Gospels were a
dilemma.
part of the Gospels. The four Gospels were a part of it, of our Gospels.
No,
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were
no,
part of it.
no. But the way the Quran
Assalamu alaikum,
defines the
ikhwa.
gospel
Assalamu alaikum.
excludes. Salam alaikum, Leafy.
Yeah,
The
how are you, akhi?
Quran. I'm good. How are you?
I just want to make a point, akhi. I'll just be
Leafy,
listening
please,
to the
no,
Go ahead.
conversation for a
Leafy,
while.
don't come into the
I'm not trying
conversation.
to butt in.
No, Leafy,
I'm
don't
not.
come into
Akhi,
the
just calm down
I
wisdom.
for a
simply
I'm
want
going
to
to
say
ask the
this:
host to drop you, okay, Leafy? Khalil
the
and I can have
Quranic
a
term
conversation.
Okay.
Injil is not coextensive with the New Testament or the fourfold gospel, and the simple reason is in the Quran,
Where is,
Jesus
show me in
doesn't
the
preach.
Quran that.
Jesus,
Show me in the
okay,
Quran where it says that is nothing to do with the Gospels, only particular thing. This only sayings of it. Why is he
yeah.
using
So
biographical
every time.
material both from the Torah and the
Okay,
Gospels?
did Jesus according to the Gospels preach Mark?
It doesn't matter if he preached Mark or
It
not. What
does
makes you think?
matter. It does, but
Okay,
that's what you're saying. You want me to believe that the Quran says the gospel was given to Jesus and
yeah.
Jesus
Why
preached the
not?
gospel.
Why not?
And
Because
you so did okay.
but
So did Jesus preach Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? Obviously, he didn't.
absolutely did, because according to your Quran, he did.
Really?
It's quoting from those
So
Gospels.
Mark,
It's
where?
quoting
No,
from those Gospels.
no, but where does it say? Where does the Quran say that Jesus preached the Gospel of John?
Great. Where does the Quran sit down and say that this Injil is only his verbatim words, his red
Yeah,
letters? And then on top of that, will you
355.
accept all his red letters?
There's like two or three verses where the
Yeah.
Quran defines the gospel as that which was given to Jesus by God and that which Jesus taught or preached. That the
Okay,
Quran
great.
explicitly says that. It
All
never
right.
says Jesus
So,
went
but
around
where does
talking
it
about
say
his
that it
virgin
doesn't
birth
include
or any
Matthew,
of that.
Mark, Luke, and John? Where does it say it doesn't include
It,
Matthew, Mark,
Is
Luke, and
that the
John?
because the positive definition of what the gospel is
Jay?
makes it
Jay, hold on.
impossible
Brother,
for
the
it to
very
include
fact that it's
Matthew, Mark.
quoting Matthew,
Wait,
Mark, and Luke, and John is not a big
Jay,
sign?
you guys, I'm
But
so
it
sorry. I
never.
have to mute
Go
you guys.
ahead.
Hold on, you guys. I have a question. So, Dr. Khalil, is the verbatim words of Jesus, my only question, is that the Injil? So then if I were to show
Yeah.
you all through Jesus's words, would then that be accepted as the true word of God?
So the words of Jesus that have been authentically preserved in your Bible,
So whatever
those would
agrees with
be
the
part
Quran
of
is
the
good. What
real
doesn't agree with the
Injil.
Quran is not good. That's what he just said. He won't
Okay.
even take the
Brother,
full
can I just speak,
words of
or
Jesus.
am I not
Okay,
allowed to
no,
speak?
Leafy,
Yeah,
you're not
no,
going to speak. We're going to
you
finish
guys
up with
can.
Khalil
Jay, go
first.
ahead.
Leafy, go
Yeah.
ahead. I've been talking a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, no
So
worries,
you're
akhi. I've
done.
just been
Hold
listening to you and Jay go
on.
back and forth. So I just like to give some
Dr.
practical examples.
Adnani, are you
So
finished?
Jay,
Are you
brother,
finished,
you come
Adnani?
here and you say that,
Doc,
oh, well, how do
Dr.
you
Wait,
know
Adnani,
wait,
are
what
you
wait,
the Quran
Leafy,
finished?
says?
before
Dr.
you do,
Adnani,
because
let me
hold
finish
on,
this.
Jay,
Just finish.
hold on one second. Before
Yeah.
you do,
I'm
because
not
y'all are
trying to
gonna
attack
talk and
anyone.
talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yeah. Go
Hey,
figure out
Dr.
if Justin
Khalil,
Martyr is a church
I just
No,
father
no,
or
wanted
not.
no.
to tell.
No, it's
Wait,
literally one point. It's
excuse
just
me,
one point.
excuse me. Dr. Khalil, I just wanted to tell you thank you for coming up. I appreciate all of your words, and I will message you about other things. Okay?
No, you're welcome. And Jay, before I mean, I'll still listen, but I don't mind the arguing with Jay. I don't
No,
take it personally.
I appreciate you going back and forth with me. We get a little passionate on this stuff, but it's not personal.
Yeah, very good. God bless you. I just wanted
Yeah.
to say that. So, and don't moral get. You are weird, bro. Like you're a very weird person. Yeah, not holy glaze, but he was actually very respectful, and I do appreciate that. So.
He's always respectful. I mean, Adnani, we don't agree, but he's always been very respectful. Well, he's not a Sunni. That already should give you an idea. So she has a very respectful on this app.
Can
All
I
right,
make
so
a point
now.
now, or?
Let